Jasper had been aboard the Convergence station for exactly 47 days when he first saw her. The diplomatic hub floated in neutral space, a massive ring of steel and synthetic crystal where 100 species mingled under tenuous treaties and fragile alliances. Humans were the newest addition to the Galactic Assembly, barely tolerated, frequently mocked, and generally considered a liability by the older civilizations. He'd been waiting in the commerce sector, surrounded by beings whose ancestors had mastered faster-than-light travel while his own kind was still figuring out bronze. The air recyclers hummed with the strain of processing a dozen different atmospheric preferences simultaneously, creating a strange cocktail of scents that Jasper had learned to ignore. That's when Dani walked past. She wasn't human. Her skin had an iridescent quality that shifted between deep violet and silver depending on the light. Her arms moved with liquid grace, each gesture purposeful and elegant. Her face held a symmetry that was almost familiar but distinctly alien, wide-set eyes that reflected starlight even in the station's artificial glow. A ridge of crystalline structures where eyebrows might be on a human dot. She was Kailari, Jasper realized. One of the oldest spacefaring species, philosophers and artists who viewed most other races as crude children playing with dangerous toys. Dani caught him staring. Her expression, if he was reading it correctly, suggested mild irritation. "Why do you keep looking at me, human?" she asked, her voice carrying harmonics that no human throat could produce. Jasper could have said many things. He could have apologized and looked away, which is what the human diplomats had trained him to do. He could have explained that he was simply curious about alien biology, maintaining professional distance. He could have stayed silent. Instead, he told the truth. "Because you look amazing," he said. The words hung in the recycled air between them. Around them, the station's bustle continued, traders bartering, diplomats arguing, automated vendors hawking wares in a dozen languages. But in that moment, Jasper was only aware of Dani's 4 eyes widening in what might have been surprise. "Amazing." She repeated the word as if testing its weight. "You find me aesthetically pleasing?" "Yes," Jasper said simply. "The way you move, the light on your skin. You're beautiful." This was not normal human behavior, not on the station. The other species expected humans to be either aggressive or deferential. Compliments, particularly aesthetic ones, weren't part of the usual script. Dani's head tilted a gesture. Jasper would later learn indicated deep thought among her people. "Your species has been in space for less than a solar cycle. You've barely left your own star system. You know nothing of art, of true culture." "I know what I find beautiful," Jasper replied. "Does sophistication make beauty, or does beauty exist regardless of who observes it?" For a long moment, Dani simply stared at him. Then, unexpectedly, she made a sound, a chiming laugh that seemed to come from somewhere deep in her chest cavity. "You're either very brave or very foolish, human. I am We were composing symphonies of light when your ancestors were still in trees. And yet," Jasper said, feeling reckless, "I'm the one who appreciates you right now." Over the following weeks, Jasper kept running into Dani at first. He suspected coincidence. Then he began to wonder if she was engineering these encounters. She would appear at the observation deck when he took his evening walk, or at the Cultural Exchange Center when he browsed alien art. Their conversations grew longer. Dani questioned him relentlessly about human perspectives, why they found certain things beautiful, how they created art with such short lifespans, what drove them to reach for the stars when they knew how far behind they were. "Your people are impulsive," she said one evening, as they watched a nebula bloom outside the observation window. "Reckless. You barely understand the technology you use." "True," Jasper agreed. "We're stumbling around in the dark, making mistakes, probably breaking 100 protocols we don't even know exist." "Then why?" Dani's forearms gestured expressively. "Why reach out? Why not stay safe on your small world until you were ready?" Jasper considered this. Outside, the nebula swirled in colors that had no names in any human language. "Because waiting until you're ready means you never start," he said finally. "We might be clumsy and new and ignorant, but we're here, we're trying, and maybe that's its own kind of beauty, the beauty of beginnings, of potential, of not letting fear stop you from reaching out." Dani was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice had lost its usual sharp edge. "The Galactic Assembly has existed for 10,000 of your years," she said softly. "In that time, we've perfected much. Our art, our technology, our social structures. But perhaps we've also forgotten something. The courage to be imperfect, the willingness to be vulnerable." She turned to face him fully, all 4 eyes meeting his too. "You looked at me, a stranger from a species you'd barely met. and called me beautiful. No analysis, no careful diplomatic phrasing, just honest appreciation. Do you know how long it's been since anyone simply saw me? Not a Kailari, not a representative of an ancient culture, but just me. Jasper smiled. Hi Danny, nice to meet you. The chiming laugh returned, warmer this time. One of her hands tentatively carefully reached out. Jasper met it with his own, their fingers intertwining despite the differences. Perhaps, Danny said, there are different kinds of sophistication, and perhaps humanity's gift isn't that you're advanced, but that you haven't forgotten how to simply be present, to see, to appreciate. Through the observation window, the nebula continued its ancient dance, beautiful and indifferent to all observers. But inside the station, two beings from different worlds stood together, finding their own kind of wonder. And for Jasper, that was more than amazing, it was everything.